Who did you study in regards to speaking? Because speaking is such a talent that people don't really understand. They don't even know how hard this is for us to just be doing this. Who did you study?
I never really studied anyone. I guess indirectly, Garvey and Douglas would be the main two, obviously. But most of our leaders were great orators, you know, so I've listened to all of them, but I never patterned myself after anyone or anything like that. You know what I mean? It just came natural.
You took nothing from any you. You took technique. You ain't took no technique from no one.
If there was any technique,
cause see, you got the pointing. Bro. I'm high level. Listen, this how I make money. So I'm high level examining speakers, right? The pointing, the everything. I'm watching it all. So I'm saying, this is a developed thing. This isn't something you can walk off the porch with. So I wonder.
I think some of us are born with it, though. I think some of us are born with it. I think the great ones like Garvey, Douglas, Dr. King, you can't teach that.
You can nurture it. I ain't saying teach it. And that's what I mean. Like, you can't teach it. I'm not saying teach it.
Right.
Because teaching will speak.
But you can teach people how to speak, though.
Yes, but not on this level.
Right.
So I'm saying, when I'm peeping what you're doing, understand I've already identified that I'm watching the best speakers in the world because this is how I make my money, right? So I ain't even talking about the rest of those guys. I'm saying the highest level of communication, right? You, the Farrakhan's, the people that I look in and say, oh, all right, let's pull a notepad out, get some of that technique, because there's breath control, there's pausing, there's repeating, there's face, you know, there's so much that's happening.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering who deposited anything.
The only technique that I'm conscious of having borrowed from my predecessors is the need to pause occasionally.
Yes, so important.
I'll just go.
Yeah.
And I won't stop. So I consciously try to remember to pause.
Yes.
And that's probably more of a Frederick Douglass thing than anything else.
And because people have to take it in. Even with me, because even with me, when you try to get into that vibe, you know, it's like, at some point, I got to start talking to you like you listening. You know what I'm saying? And some people, they just talking. You got to talk to somebody like they're listening.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes when I need emphasis on something, I need to lay there for that. Like I even in our communication today, you would say something like, for your black liberation, and you'll just let that live. And I think those techniques, I just want you to know that people are watching those things, and you're pouring into people indirectly just by.
You know, spiritually, right? There's about 5 different major spiritual gifts. You have your clear cognizance. That's when information from the universe is downloaded automatically into your mind. You know it, but you don't know where you learned it. That's clear cognizance. When I speak, not all the time, but sometimes, clear cognizance will take over. And I'm saying things about things I've never learned nowhere. So it's coming directly from the ancestors. And I'll go back and look at a clip and say, how did I say that? And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So there's sometimes you get into a zone where it's not even you.
Oh man, I love those zones.
You follow? That's
man, them zones there. If I can get in a pocket on these boys, it's nothing like it.
That's what I'm saying. It's not all the time. You know when it's coming.
And it's magic. And you feel it as a speaker, as someone you say.
And you know when you're with
I got in my bag.
You're like, I'm not stopping. Take a break. We ain't taking no break.
No, we can't.
The ancestors.
Yeah.
And the one thing I learned about public speaking taught me more than anything else. We have no control over the outcome. Because I walk into a certain lecture, I'm like, I'm going to tear this up tonight. It's the right sound, right building, right this. It'll be a regular lecture. And then I'll go somewhere where I'm like, okay, this is just going to be a regular little talk. It's my classics. All of my classics were unintentional. Every one. The ones that people love, I'm like, damn, I never even thought that night was going to be that special. And it's never up to us.
Yeah, and this is important for the young content creators because they're watching us. But here's the thing, too. As I'm going further and further, I just did Invest Fest with 20,000 people, right? And so when you come out and it's that many people, you look around like, what is this, right? And it's like you blow a circuit or you blow a fuse. You get it back, but for a brief second, it's almost like, what? Like, zoom. It's like everything you was thinking, your thought process, but it eventually comes. It eventually comes back. Do you find yourself ever being in that mode? Because you speak so much now, I don't think you may find yourself in.
For me, the best speech is the first time they saw you, because there's no expectation. You feel me? If I'm going I'm going to Cameroon, Africa next week, right? I was in Brussels, Belgium last week. I've never been to Brussels. So there's no pressure, because I know they know me from social media, but they never felt me in the person.
Right.
This is no pressure.
Right.
You know what the pressure is? When I've been in Nashville 10 times and y'all came back to see me that 11th, that's pressure. Because y'all know what to expect. Y'all seen it. And I got to give y'all a new, fresh message and be even more dynamic I was the previous 9 times.
Yeah.
So some people would say the more you come back to a city, the easier. Not for me. It's the harder.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like a place like Chicago, where I spend a lot, New York, where I spend a lot, it's pressure.
Yeah.
Because not only do I got to have a new message, I got to grab you
Every time.
better than I did the last time.
And what I'm trying to do, right, because I'm ascending so fast. So I'm trying to figure out now I'm conscious about this as I'm getting, because it's so much money on the line. And anybody watching me, I got millions of people watch. I need y'all to know this. Pay attention to whatever you're doing. Right now, man, I'm finding myself trying to understand when I get those zones, I literally try to backtrack what that day was. Like, did I place myself there? Was it something I done before the show? Was it, even though I know it's probably not, because it never reenacts itself. Yeah. But it's like I'm conscious on trying to grab that.
Watch the full video on It's Up There podcast YouTube and exclusives on Patreon. Get there now.